Hi everyone, today I am making holiday cards. Amazingly, it's only September, but I am involved in a mini catalog swap where we choose 2 stamp sets from the mini catalog and we make 15, I think I have to make, cards the same with this stamp set and that stamp set, and then we ship them off and everybody sends them back, and then I get cards from the entire catalog because we each choose different stamp sets. So today I'm using one of a kind, and I really like Snowflakes. I always buy the Snowflake set whenever it's in the catalog, which is kind of silly because I probably have lots of Snowflake sets by now, but I just really like them. I'm not sure why. Snowflakes are just so pretty to me, and I like to make paper snowflakes, and I just love snowflakes. So snowflakes and snowmen and leaves. If there's a new leaf set, snowman set, or snowflake set, guaranteed it will be in my shopping cart. Okay, anyway, here's the new one. And what is cool about this one is it's actually kind of like a mini bundle. They're not calling it that. That's kind of just what I'm calling it. But the stamp set itself is really cute. And I like when they add things like flurry and blizzard and whatever. So sending a flurry of happy wishes is my favorite from this one. And then there's a die set, and look at how tiny this die set is. Now there are a couple of these floating around, these little mini bundles, and the price point is really good. So for example, there's only 2 dies, but you only really need 2 dies. One of them cuts out the large snowflake, and then there's also a smaller one that fits with inside of it, and you can use them together or separately and make yourself a whole blizzard of snowflakes. You can stamp this one and cut it out or emboss or whatever you want to do. Really cute little bundle, and I like it. So the price on this is really good, and I want to talk to you about that really quick before we get started, because I kept thinking I was making a mistake, because the stamp set is here and the dies are here, and the bundle price, putting them together, is over here, and you save 10% if you put them together. And when I put these little mini bundles in my shopping cart, sometimes I think that I'm doing something wrong because the price is inexpensive, and I think, oh, I must have only put in the stamp set, but I didn't. I put in both. $27.75 gets you both. And then right across the page is another one. This one is actually kind of more a larger. I wouldn't even know if it's mini, but look at the price point on that, $29. Usually when you buy a stamp and a die bundle and you have all these pieces, it's like $53 or something like that. So these are really good. I think they're doing a great job getting some stamp sets that are still super huge mega sets that are $53, but then sometimes they've got some that are less expensive. So I want to point them out when I can. And this one's really fun because you can make these little ornaments. It's kind of reminiscent of that little peekaboo one in the big catalog. I forget what it's called. Sorry about that. Anyway, really cute, and I think it's a really great little add-on here. And then there's another one that I want to point out before I go away from this catalog, and it's this one, Sentimental Wishes. And this really pretty stamp set with lots of coloring options, which I love, has another one of these little mini bundles, and this and the dies together, $38, which is a little more, but you get more dies here. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dies, and they're more detailed, and the stamp set's bigger, but still a great price. And if you look at this one, the entire suite is $68. That means the ribbon, the embellishments, the paper, the stamps, and the dies all together. So check out the new price points on a lot of these sets because I think they're pretty good. Okay, that's it for this. Now let's work on this. Okay, so I had to pick what stamp sets I was going to make way before I even got them. So I picked these knowing I was going to get this. I knew I was going to get the snowflakes, so I picked it, and then I got it and I haven't seen any samples with it yet. And I know it's September, so there will be some, but anyway, I don't have any samples that I looked at online. So I thought that I was just going to go ahead and make a variety and kind of decide which ones to go with. And in the catalog is this, in the mini catalog, red and white baker's twine, which I really like. And I love pool party and red together for some reason. It was featured a long time ago in a Christmas paper, and it's ever since been my favorite combo. And so I'm going to do that. Now this is my basic, no dies needed. So I'm going to try just the stamp set to make this one, because I wanted to show that you can do some really fun things without having to get the dies. Some people don't have the cut machine. I get it. So here's a no dies, and that's a really fun one. And here's kind of another version of that. And so for this one, I just did straight stamping. And on this one, I stamped in Versamark and then used a blending brush to go, and I embossed it in white embossing powder. I later switched to clear because I'll tell you why when I do that with you. But anyway, then I've kind of gone over it with a blending brush in the pool party, which then reveals that, and that's a really fun technique. And you don't really, I used a die for this tag, but you can make one as well. So this is kind of a no dies needed version. And then I went with this one where I did use the dies. So I just did stamping, and then I kind of make a peekaboo with the dies, and then you've got a little peekaboo, which is fun. And then I thought, well, why not do peekaboo and blending, because I love blending brushes. So then I did this one. And I've got peekaboo die cutting and blending brushes with emboss resist. So that's a lot going on, and I can't decide really which one. I have to make, like I said, 15. I think I send 14 and I keep one for myself. And I don't know which one I want to make multiples of. Now, of course, this one is the easiest to make multiples of, but it's a swap, so I want to do a little more. And I thought of the peekaboo, and do we like the blending or not blending? I can't decide. So let's do this together. I will show you how to make this little peekaboo, and in doing so, then you'll know how to make the other one, because it's just a simpler version. So we're going to start with a card base of Pool Party, and we've got a piece of basic white, and this is cut 5.5 by, I believe I cut it at 3.5. Yes, 5.5 by 3.5, and that's going to go across here. I'm just using scraps for, I always have these little scraps in my cardstock bin. I'm not sure how big these are. About 1/2 inch, and they're 5.5 across. And this one's a little bigger, but that's okay, because we're just gonna kind of make it however we want. And then we're using another piece of basic white for the inside, and that's it. So how you do this is we are going to go ahead and lay this on top where we want it, but we're not going to glue it down just yet, because I like to do all my stamping and get everything figured out before I start gluing things down. So what if I make a mistake? So I'm just laying it where I want it to be, and if you need to post-it note together, you can. And I'm going to put this where I want it to be, and then I'm going to run it through my cut and emboss machine. So let me do that. Okay, and I want to have a little bit of a margin on the side, just a tiny one, actually maybe a little bit more, and a little bit of space down here, because remember, we're going to add some red. So I've got it lined up how I like, and then okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to save this blue piece for our pop out, our little peekaboo, and then this white one we can use to cut out our other snowflake, the detail snowflake. Or you can just use a piece of scrap white and save this for another card. But I thought, since I already have this little scrap here and I can always make more, I'm going to use it. Now I'm just using, I just want the middle snowflake, so it doesn't matter if I'm like way off the side or whatever, as long as I have the entire thing. But I am actually going to center it nicely, because I thought, you know, since I have it, who knows, maybe I want to do something with that little frame. So I tried to center it. I'm not sure if I do anything with that or not, but it's kind of cute. And, you know, it might be fun layered on something, so I'm keeping it. All right, so now I've got this one. I need to poke my little pieces out. The snowflakes always need to be poked, it seems like, which I found with my mini snowflake sets, but it's easy to just kind of run around and poke them. And I know that there's a way you can put wax paper on your die and run it through, and it kind of is supposed to make the dies easier to release from their little, your cuts come out of the die itself easier, and I haven't tried that. But if that works, you tell me. I haven't ripped one yet, so they're okay. Sometimes you've got some that are so lacy, and I've ripped them, and I haven't ripped one yet, and you can see that I've made a ton. And so far, so good. So anyway. All right, so we have that, and I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down so I don't lose it. I'm just looking for some larger areas to attach a little glue, little bead of glue, little dot. All right, set that aside. Okay, let's work on this. All right, so now I didn't glue these together because I wanted to work on this. I wanted to make sure that I cut it out first because I want to place my snowflakes accordingly. And it's easier to emboss and blend if it's not glued together. So I know I was tempted to glue these together, but don't do it. Okay, so now I need my Versamark and my snowflakes. Are they blue? No. Okay. And I'm going to add these kind of in a stripe across the card, and I'm going to go high and low. Just want to kind of give an impression of a little flurry of snowflakes going through. Now it's hard to see this because the ink is clear, the paper's white, you've got to shine. So this is it's hard to see, and I do want kind of one coming over here just to kind of finish it off, going all the way across. Maybe one more on that side too. I'll go with the smaller one. Okay. Now I'm going to use clear embossing powder, which I've got in my tray here. Now I told you I was going to say why in a little while. I did this one with white embossing powder, and it is white. It's not that it's a yellowed white, but when I went over it with the pool party, something about that ink just slightly transferred it, even if I wiped it off with a towel, like a little kitchen towel, and it just had a little yellowing effect to it next to that blue. See? And it almost made Pool Party even appear more green, even though it's not. And then when I did it with clear, it's the same ink, same Pool Party, but it just didn't look as yellow and it didn't look as green. So I decided clear was the way to go. So I've got those covered, and I wish you could see, but they are covered. And then let me do these two on the end here. And I'm going to heat them up. Okay, now I know you can't see this, but I could tell that I missed the top of that snowflake. I can tell because it's not shiny. All right, now when I start to put the blending brush on top, then you'll be able to see these kind of reveal themselves. So I'm using a blending brush and Pool Party ink. This is one of my last of the old style. I only have two left of the very old style. All right, so to pick up the ink, you're going to go in a circular pattern. I kind of try to go all around the whole pad just so that I'm not taking it just from one area. And then you want to start off of the page, because if you start right on the page, you kind of get like a thump of the heaviest of ink, and it's hard to blend that out. So I kind of start off to the side and then bring it in. And now you can see the snowflakes. And let's do this side. Okay, what do you think? It's kind of like a little flurry going through. All right, now we have to put it together. Oh, I was going to add some of the little, this is a fun little one. Let's use this. This is kind of like a little swirl, and I want to use that. This is going to get covered up here, so let's maybe put one here, and here. And maybe up here. Let me see. I think that's good enough. Okay. All right, so we've got this. Now we're going to add our little strips of red. So I'm just going to take some of my liquid multi-purpose glue here, and I'm going to run a really thin line of glue on the top and bottom. And I like to kind of hold it up and use my finger as like a border so that it doesn't go past. So what I mean by that is it's liquid glue, so I can move it, and then I kind of press my finger against the side of the card so that it goes up to the edge. And then while it's still wet, it does dry fast, kind of straighten everything out and press it down. And this top is probably already starting to dry a little bit. So I'm going to do the same and try to match the border size. Now this one's a little bit, like, these are just scraps from my bag of cardstock, so some of them might not be perfect, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just chop that off. There. Okay. So now we have to glue it down. So we are going to line up the snowflakes. So liquid glue again, and this time make sure you kind of go around the snowflake area just so it sticks down. All right. Okay, we did it. All right, and then I'm going to put this on there, but I'll do that last. Let's work on the inside. So for the inside, I have a piece of basic white. And what you're going to do is just kind of hold it for a minute. And what do we do with, here it is, this guy. We're going to see where he lands, because I need to do some stamping. So he's going to land about there. I just want to make sure I leave enough space. Now I want to bring some of that red to the inside, so I'm going to grab real red ink and a different sentiment. This one says, oh, what does it say? Well, let's find out. All right. Hope you have the merriest season ever. And since these are sitting on our block, let's go ahead and use them. Okay. Now again, I like to stamp first before gluing down, because what if I made a boo-boo? So I'm going to glue this down. we are going to add some dimensionals to the back of our snowflake. Oops. And stick that in the hole. There we go. Oops. And again, with this really cute red and white baker's twine, love, we're just gonna go ahead and tie a bow. Simple as that. My hands are a little sticky from the liquid glue, so it's not as simple as that. It's sticking to my hand. All right, sometimes this baker's twine wants to curl because it's been wrapped around this and it's got that red around it. It just wants to roll. So I kind of play with it a little bit, and then as I shorten it, I hold on to that knot to kind of keep it where I want. And that usually does the trick. Oh yay, it did. Okay. And I'm going to add a glue dot right here for my bow. And it's rolling again. Sometimes you can make the glue dot help you. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on the back. Like so. All right, there it is. Now, you tell me, do we like the peekaboo, or is that a little much? Or do we think the blending is too much? Do we like the peekaboo with or without the blending? Or maybe no peekaboo? So many choices, so hard to decide. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video and at least liked some of the ideas. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you'll subscribe and come back again.